So welcome to this mindful yoga session. This is the last one of this term, so nice to have a group of people here. We're going to start with a brief sit. So just sitting in a position that feels comfortable, either on a chair or a cushion or a block, and having your feet in contact with whatever's below you. So either the soles of the feet on the floor, or if you're cross-legged, then the kind of edges of your feet in contact with the floor or whatever you're sitting on. And I wanted to introduce this mudra, the hand gesture, where we let the little finger come and touch the base of the thumb pad. The ring finger touches a bit higher up, more towards the middle, and then the middle finger touches the tip of the thumb, and the index finger points upwards. And you can do that with both hands. So little finger comes in at the base of the thumb pad, then the ring finger, middle finger touches the thumb, a bit like a deer, and then the index finger points up. And we'll just let that mudra come and rest on our lap, so the backs of the hands can be rested and the shoulders can open. And then you might like to just close the eyes or lower the gaze. And let the attention come and rest inside the body. You might be able to feel all these fingers in this strange position. So maybe just check in there with the feel of the hands. And then let the attention drop down, perhaps all the way down to the feet, as a way of helping to feel more stable and grounded. Bringing our attention out of the head, all the way down to the feet. And just whatever you can feel in your feet in this moment. Maybe socks, if you've got socks on around your skin, or the coolness of air touching the skin. Whatever your feet are in contact with, that might be a kind of harder floor, or a softer mat, or a squishiness of a chair or a bed. Just taking a moment to really explore sensations in and around your feet. And then from the feet, opening up your awareness to the rest of the body sitting here. The shape of your body. The feel of the body on the inside. And as you open up your awareness to the body, you might notice places of contact. You might notice parts of the body that feel okay, parts of the body that maybe feel discomfort, unease, physically or emotionally. And you might kind of notice the feel of the thoughts inside the head, whether they feel busy or still, loud or quiet, clear or jumbled. No right or wrong, just noticing how you're doing this morning in the same way that you might check in with a friend and listen to them. Then we're just going to bring our attention to the breath. So for 2 or 3 breaths, just letting the attention follow the breath as best you can. When you next notice an in-breath starting, following the whole of that in-breath, all the way to its entirety, into a pause. And then there's a kind of turning of an in-breath into an out-breath in that pause. And then following the whole of the out-breath, a bit like you're riding the waves of your breathing. All the way out into another pause. Seeing if you can allow the full time for that to happen, so no rush. waiting for the next in-breath when it's ready to come. Following it once again. And then widening out from the breath to the whole body again. Sit here, sitting here, standing here. Just seeing how the body is now after having had a few focus on breath. How's it feeling now? And whatever's still showing up now, just checking in, what does it need right now? If there's a part of the body that's a bit discomfort, there's a bit of discomfort, then what does that need? What might be helpful and supportive for us to focus on in this next hour? And then you might like to just finish this little sitting practice with a slightly longer, deeper, slower breath. All the way in, all the way out. And then gently open the eyes or raise the gaze. And just before we start moving on and checking in, I'm just going to do a couple of extra breaths with this hand gesture. So just letting the hands come up a bit higher to the rib cage, the fingers, index fingers pointing towards each other. I'm going to take a nice breath in and move the hands out to the sides, flexing the wrists. And then as you breathe out, just letting them come back to sit underneath the ribs. So just a few breaths like that, as if you're pushing the walls away and coming back. I might like to just do a couple more of those as I read what this hand gesture is about. It's a chest opening, lung freeing hand gesture called Fufu Samokshana Mudra. And I thought it'd be helpful because the benefits of it are that it clears the airways, opens the chest, improves the elasticity of the rib cage, which facilitates easy breathing. It strengthens the immune system, specifically reducing susceptibility to lung-related complaints, helps with the processing of grief and sadness, and helps to lift the heaviness of depression. You might like to just come to rest and perhaps give the hands and the fingers and the arms just a little shake. And then I'm going to pause the recording. Great, so let's come to standing. I'm just going to move the screen down just a little bit. So if you stand with your feet in parallel, so normally your toes might be a little bit more out, see if you can bring the whole foot into parallel, so almost the heels are a little bit out. Edges of your feet are parallel with the edges of your mat. I'm going to just start with a few tree of life breaths, so letting the fingers join down at the base. And we'll breathe in as we bring the arms up, shoulders stay down. So they meet up at the top and then they come down the middle of your body as you breathe out. So just following your own breath. Keeping the shoulders down as much as possible throughout this whole circle. Arms are going up, shoulders staying down. Following the breath. Have eyes open or eyes closed once you get the hang of this. And maybe it connects with something that you need to kind of gather in for yourself. Some kind of strength or health or calm or peace. And then next time that you bring your arms down, just have a pause in front of your heart space. Palms of the hands connected in front of the heart space. Elbows out to the side. Just pause there for a moment. And you've got your hands kind of in front of your chest. So just breathing into that place behind your hands, all the way through to the space between your between your shoulder blades. Just breathing into that whole chest cavity, shoulder girdle. Just can you fill up that space behind the hands and release from that place. Breathing all the way to the shoulder blades and the space in between. 3 breaths. And then we're going to go the other way with our arms, but connecting with the breath. So this time as we breathe in, the arms come up, the shoulders stay down, and then they come out and down and round. Join at the bottom, turn, follow the in-breath. Just a couple more of those. And then let's bring our hands behind the body. So let's come a bit closer. You can have your thumbs and your index fingers touching from hand to hand and the elbows out to the side. And then we're still going to be in this parallel position, feet in parallel. I'm going to turn sideways just so that you can see. You just want to stand up really nice and tall. You're going to take a breath in and just let the heels come off the ground a little bit. Lightness in the heels as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out, can the heels go down, the buttocks go back, so that you can hinge over at the hips. You might like to just soften the knees a little bit because that allows the buttocks to hinge a bit more easily. So rather than locking the knees back, let the knees be just a little bit soft. Let's see how much you can come into that kind of flat back position. And this time we're going to breathe into the place where our hands are at the lower back. So 3 breaths into that space where your hands are rested. Seeing how long the spine can be all the way to the crown of the head. Feeling up all the way down to the base of the spine. And then the next time you breathe in, can you fly the arms out level with the shoulders, palm facing down, palm facing down. You might like to just give your fingers a little wiggle. And again, just 3 breaths here. Breathing into wherever feels appropriate. Maybe a bit more at the mid-back. Take another last breath in this position. And then bring your hands in front of your chest, palms touching, elbows out to the side. And just really letting your chest soften forwards and down into your thumbs, opening that chest area. And breathing there to that place where your thumbs meet your breastbone. 3 breaths there. Really full breaths. nourishing and cleansing with the in and the out breath. And then next time you breathe in, we're going to unhinge at the hips to come back up to standing. Take the arms back up into the air. And then let them open, but stretch into the heel of your hands. So flexing the hands as you bring that circle all the way down. And we're going to come all the way down and interlock our fingers behind our backs. We're making a little kind of nest, drawing the hands down the back of the body, perhaps over the buttocks, squeezing the elbows in towards each other. And then just have a breath in to feel tall in this position, elbows really squeezed in. As you breathe out, can you turn to look over your right shoulder? And just have a couple of breaths there, feeling the head and the neck in that position. And then the next time you breathe in, let that in-breath move your head across through the middle to the other side, the left-hand shoulder. Just a couple of breaths here, noticing and feeling, breathing. We'll do that once more on each side. So an in-breath comes and we move our head with that in-breath across to the other side, right-hand side. Breath comes and goes, softening down into the heels and the feet, up to the top of the head. And then again, next time the in-breath comes, we can move all the way across to the left. Breath comes and goes. And then let's come back to the middle, and we'll just finish by up and down movement. So this time when you breathe in, thinking about the chin really stretching up, forwards and up. And then as you breathe out, the chin tucks in, and the back of the neck is long. You might like to do that one or two more times. In breath takes the chin up, front of the neck gets a nice opening. Out breath tucks the chin in, back of the neck gets a nice opening. And then coming back up to center, releasing the arms. And you might like to just, in fact, let's bring the elbows in and just give the wrists a little rotate around in one direction and the other. Wrist and fingers, just wriggle the fingers. So then we're going to come back to this interlocked position, but let the other index finger come in front. So you have your normal way that you interlock your fingers, and then swapping around so the other index finger is in front. But do that behind your back. And then drawing the hands down over the buttocks, squeezing the elbows in. Standing up nice and tall. Breathing in, standing up nice and tall. So this time as we breathe out, the right shoulder is going to go over, the right ear is going to go over to the right shoulder. The shoulder is staying down and level. And again, just have a few breaths there. A real sense of softening on each out breath. Rather than trying and pulling and forcing, more softening, softening, softening. And then let an in-breath bring your head up. Just have a little pause. And then we'll come to the other side. So again, next time the breath comes in, just feel long through your body. As you breathe out, left ear heading over towards the left shoulder. Keeping both shoulders down and level. And then just softening with the out breath. Keep softening, keep smiling. Keep breathing. And then from here, we're going to drop the chin down And semicircle around to the other side. A bit more fluidly now, just letting the weight of the head almost loosely swing from side to side, going down and up, drawing a little semicircle with your chin. We're not taking it back, just from side to side. And then coming back to the center, releasing the arms, bringing the elbows in, and again, just giving the wrists a little rotate around in each direction. Right. And then let's bring the hands onto the shoulders, letting the fingers just lightly rest on your shoulders. And this movement of drawing circles with your elbows, coming towards each other and away as you breathe. In breath, out breath. Really feeling whatever you can notice in your arms and your shoulder joint. There might be stiffness, there might be clunks and creaks, or maybe very smooth. And then come around in the opposite direction. Still breathing with that movement. And then from there, you can just interlock the fingers behind your head and let the elbows again come towards each other as far as they can. And then as you breathe in, can you just open the elbows out the sides and then release back towards each other as you breathe out. So an opening and a releasing that comes with the breath. Maybe one more of those. And then release. And then we're going to come to standing cat. So again, I'm coming sideways on just so that you can see. So letting the knees bend over your feet. So a nice gap between your feet, a nice gap between your knees. Knees bending directly over the feet. And we're going to bring the forearms up in front of us. And as we breathe in, see how much you can curl the spine out behind you, draw the belly in so that you're sort of hiding. And then as we breathe out, really opening out. And if it goes the other way with your breath, don't worry, just let it be that way. As long as you're moving with the breath, this curling up movement and this opening out. All the way through the spine. And let's do one more of those. And then release. So then we're going to, again, have our knees just a little bit bent over our feet. A little bit of a squatty position. Bring the arms out level with the shoulders, palms facing forwards. And just take a nice breath in there along the back of the body, being as broad as you can. And then we're going to keep that broadness in the back of the body, but see if we can bring the hands in front so that the right arm crosses over the left. And we're going to take hold of the shoulder blades. You can give yourself a little bit of a massage along your shoulder blades. Let the elbows be level with the shoulders. And again, just breathe into the back of the body. 3 deep breaths into the back of the body. Particularly that space between your shoulder blades. See if you can expand that as you breathe in. Like you're moving your hands a little bit away from each other as you breathe in. So we've got the right arm on top of the left. We're then going to lift up or just cross over the left foot so that it's just crossed over, toes are in contact with the floor, heels lifted. And you can have a little bit of a bend in the knees, a little bit of a balance. And then we're going to let go of the shoulders and either bring the backs of the hands to face each other, or you can wrap the palms around. Or if that's a bit suffocating, you can bring the backs of the hands to touch each other in this position. So just finding a position that works for you. And what we're really working on in this position is drawing the shoulder blades down. So rather than having the shoulder blades up and forward, drawing the shoulder blades back and down. Again, breathing into that space at the back of the body. Seeing if you can still widen the space between the shoulder blades, even though you aren't hugging them anymore. And then on the next breath out, we're going to fly the arms out and this front leg's going to fly back. So taking a nice breath in. And then as you breathe out, undo the arms, fly the left leg back. And just have a moment of balancing, flying, feeling long and broad. As best you can. And then let that leg come down. Let the arms come down. I'll just give the arms just a little shrug. Whole arms just like jelly right from the shoulders. Right. So let's do the same on the other side. Letting the arms come out level with the shoulders, a bit of a bend in the knees. A nice deep breath in. Feeling nice and broad. This time keeping that broadness, the left arm comes on top of the right and we take hold of the shoulder blades. Give ourselves a little massage. Elbows level with shoulders. And breathe into that space where your hands are. Broadening with the in-breath. Releasing with the out-breath. And then if you take the right leg and just bring it across the left and let the toes of the right foot connect onto the floor. Heels lifted. And again, a bit of a bend in the knees, so you can kind of sink into each knee. As we let go of the shoulders and either bring the backs of the hands, the palms, whichever's comfortable. And again, breathing into that space between your shoulder blades. Taking a nice breath in. Expanding that space, drawing the shoulder blades back and down the body. Expanding and softening. And then getting ready to fly. So take a nice breath in. As you breathe out, undo the arms, take the right leg back. Just have a moment of flying, balancing as best you can. Long and broad. And then let that foot come down to join the other one. And we'll just have a curl down through the body. So letting the chin tuck in, the weight of the head leading this curl as the body starts to head down towards the floor. Head and arms nice and loose. Vertebra by vertebra. As far as you can go. And if it's helpful, you can hold the opposite elbow or let the arms hang down. Maybe just have a look through your legs, see see the world from a different point of view. And just let everything be soft. If your arms are hanging down, give them a little shake. Head and neck can have a gentle shake. Back of the legs can have a little wiggle. And you might like to just very gently move the top half of your body, kind of semi-circling around your legs. So a little bit to one side, through the middle to the other side. A little like the same movement that our chin made. It's a little semicircle of whole torso. And then come back to the center and let the knees soften. So almost bending your knees over your feet. And then you can tip the body, uncurl it, take a nice breath in, back up to standing. Head coming up last. Let's come back to, let's bring the back of the chair or a surface, come within reach of that. So you might want a higher surface or the back of the chair. And we're going to start up close to the surface or the back of the chair with the heels of the hands resting on the chair. Heels of the hands resting on the chair or the surface, and just have a moment, how much can you stand up nice and tall just with the heels of the hands lightly resting on this surface, fingers alive. And then we're going to come up onto the balls of the feet and walk our feet back with the heels lifted so that the feet come underneath where the hips are. And in this position, we're going to do, it's like a standing cat. So we're going to arch the back up, head hangs down between the arms, arching the back up, heels are still lifted. Take a breath in this arch position. As you start to breathe out, can you let the heels go down to the floor? Soften your knees and let the buttocks spread back so that you come to a flat back position. Crown of the head growing towards the chair or the surface. Shoulder blades drawing back. And that might feel like a nice stretch. It might feel quite a big stretch. So we can move in and out of this. Next time that you breathe in, you can arch up. Heels might come off, they might not. Just see what movement wants to come with that arching up. And then as you breathe out, again, down into the heels, back with the buttocks, back with the shoulders, forward with the crown of the head. And just have a few movements with your breath, in and out, arching up, coming to that flat back. Shoulder blades drawing back, crown of the head growing long. And then the next time that you come to the flat back position, just staying in that flat back position for a moment and just moving the legs so that one knee bends forwards and the other leg opens out at the back of the knee. And then you swap. So the movement is a bit like walking, but without picking up the feet or the heels. So walking with your feet stuck in mud and just your knees coming forwards and backwards. But taking your time with it so you can kind of feel a bit of a stretch as the back of the knee opens. And then finish with a symmetrical one. So again, just letting both buttocks spread back, shoulder blades back, crown of the head growing forwards. And let's just have 3 breaths into the back body. Filling up between the shoulders, filling up at the middle, filling up at the lower back. And then to come out, you can walk yourself forwards and back up to standing. And then we're going to do a similar thing. So again, let the heels of the hands rest on the chair or the surface. Just get a sense of standing up tall, drawing the shoulder blades back. And this time coming up onto the balls of the feet, walking yourself backwards in the same way that you just did to find that level position. But then step your right foot forward and your left foot back, still with the heels lifted. So you're in a kind of walking position, but with your heels lifted. Take a breath in there, feeling as tall or as long as you can. As you breathe out, can you let both heels come down? Bring you into a bit of a forward bend, so the buttocks are back. And just lift the toes of the front foot and spread them, the right foot. Lifting the toes, spreading the toes. Releasing them in that spread position back down to the ground. And then we're going to keep the right hand on the surface of the chair. Same as the foot that's forward. The left arm we're going to open up to the side, up in the air, straight up from the shoulder blade. And you can just turn to look towards the left. You're finding that length in your body, opening up on the left side. And then bring that left hand back down. Keep the legs as they are. This time we're going to do the reverse twist. So the left hand stays on the chair. And we're going to open up the right arm, turning the torso just around to the right. Reverse twist. And then just see how long can the neck be? How much can I draw the shoulder blades back? And then bring that right hand back to the chair. And then I'm going to swap. So if we step the left foot forward, the right foot back, but stay up on the heels, stay up with the heels lifted, so balls of the feet. And just take a breath in there, feeling long. As you breathe out, let the heels go down, buttocks go back, left foot forward, right foot back. And again, we're going to lift the toes of the front foot, the left foot, spread them and place them down. And keep the left hand on the chair, turning around to bring the right arm up in the air. Just finding that long body. My left hand there's hardly any weight on the chair. I can actually take it off, but it's just kind of there as a bit of a support. If you want to take it off, you could then just let it hang down level with the right one. So you're coming to that more full triangle pose. Just drawing the shoulder blades back, lengthening the neck long. And then bringing that top arm down to the chair. Letting the right hand stay on the chair for a moment. Turning around to the reverse, left arm coming up in the air. Finding that length along the body. Drawing the shoulder blades back. Again, you can let the right arm hang down if you want to. Or keep it on the chair. Reverse triangle. And then bringing that top arm back down to join the bottom one. Stepping the back foot in so your feet are in parallel again. And then just letting the arms rest on the surface and the forehead just rest on the arms. So a little bit of a rested forward bend. But again, you can still get that movement in the legs of down through the heels, soft knees, buttocks stretching back, drawing the belly in and up. So they're still getting that length all the way through the body, even though the head is rested, arms are rested. And then to come up, if you just have soft knees, bend your knees over your feet. Let's take a nice breath in, and again, just round the back up, vertebra by vertebra, to come back up to standing. So we are going to let's come to the let me just think. Yeah, let's come to having let's do a little bit with wide legs. So standing with your legs wide as feels comfortable, but you still want to have these outer edges of your feet connected to the ground. And again, really good to just lift the toes and spread the toes of one foot and then the other, so that you can really feel the kind of contact of little toe and big toe on the ground. And probably feel an opening across the groins a little bit. And we're going to bring our hands into this same position of thumbs and index fingers touching behind us, so resting into the sacrum. And just with our feet facing directly forwards, we're going to have a little bit of movement from side to side. So breathing in and being nice and tall. As you breathe out, bending the right knee directly forwards over the right foot. The body goes a little bit over to the right. Breathe in and come up. Breathe out, left knee over left foot. Body stays upright, so we're not bending the body forward, just seeing how much the knee can bend and the body can sink to one side. So just in your own time, really getting that lift in the middle as you breathe in. Releasing the knee forward as you breathe out. I'll just show sideways. Breathing in and coming up tall. So the top of the body is just sinking directly down as the knee goes forwards. Down onto one side, but not, torso's not moving forwards. Or have a little look, play with that. And then come back up to center and turn each of your feet out a little bit. So more of a 45-degree angle in the feet. Maybe feel that in a different part of the groins. Again, nice spread toes. And going with your breath. So breathing in, getting that sense of length up through the knees. And then as you breathe out, knee bending forwards. Or sideways really now. Coming up and going across to the other side. A bit more of a lunge with the foot and the knee turned out. So although the knee is bending, the weight is staying as far back. There's weight in the foot, but not too much weight in the knee joint itself. And then let's turn both of them to face forwards. Keeping the left one facing forward, we're then going to turn the right one all the way out at 90 degrees. Breathe in and come up nice and tall. As you breathe out, let that right foot go, that right knee go forwards over the right foot. And can you bring the right elbow to the right knee and just find a nice long body all the way to the crown of your head. And that in itself might feel enough, but if you want to take it a little bit further, you can let the left arm swing, and then swing that left arm up, level with your left ear, palm facing down, and just finding that length all the way along from the left outside edge of the foot to the left fingertips. Stretch, flank pose. The elbow can keep that knee in place outwards, not dropping in. And just have a breath there. And then release that arm down, let it come back to the sacrum behind you, that left arm. We're going to go down through the feet to tip the body back up. Right arm can come back to the sacrum, and then turning the right foot in. So just before you do the other side, you might like to have a little look where the top arm goes. So just have a moment just watching. So I turn the foot out, the knee comes over the ankle, the elbow comes in contact with the knee, and I'm just here to start off with to get a really long back. And then this arm swings into this position, just by the ear, the top ear. So you get a diagonal line all the way down from your fingertips to the toes. So let's just have a look go at that together. So starting with your feet facing forwards, hands on the sacrum, nice and tall. Turning the left foot out 90 degrees, spreading the toes, connecting the toes. Letting the knee bend lightly over the foot. And then bringing the left elbow onto the left knee. Keeping the right arm just behind you at the moment, and just seeing how much you can grow the body long from the back foot to the crown of the head. And that in itself might feel enough, so you can stay there, just breathe into the back of your hand. Or if you want to swing this left arm, swing it like a pendulum and then forwards and up to find the ear. And just kind of nestle in against your right ear. And then just what length can you find from your fingertips to your foot? Breathing into that position. And then that top arm can come back down and nestle into the sacrum at the lower back. Down through your feet to tip your body back up. Other hand can nestle in, bringing your feet facing forwards. I'm going to just finish with something symmetrical here in this position. So you might like to let the heels be a little bit light, maybe just lifting the heels. Have a little bounce, let a breath come in. And then as the breath goes out, heels down, buttocks back, hinging over in this wide legged position. Let your thumbs and index fingers touch each other. How much can you have a flat back in this position? And you might like to just breathe in and curl the spine up and the head hangs down. And then as you breathe out, uncurl. Find that length through the spine to the crown of the head. And maybe just 3 breaths into the place where your hands are connected. So we did this one at the beginning, but not with wide legs, now with wide legs. Take 3 breaths into that lower back. And then let's breathe in and fly the arms out like we did at the beginning. You can wiggle your fingers, have 3 breaths here, middle of the back. And then fly the arms back in front of the chest. Thumbs nestling into breastbone, breastbone spreading into the thumbs. 3 breaths into that place. Chest and shoulder blades. And then next time you breathe in, let the knees be soft. Tip the body back up to standing. Arms can come up into the air, shoulders down. And then out and down and round, stretching into the heel of the hands. Coming back up to standing. Releasing the feet back together. So then let's come down onto the ground. You might like to have a little fold in the middle of your mat, let extra little bit of padding for your knees. But make sure you've got space behind you because we're going to lengthen out legs as well. So just checking you've got enough space. Fold for your knees, the length out for the legs. And you might like to just lift the lower legs and give the feet just a little rotate around, a little twirl around in the ankle sockets. And then let the legs be long, point the toes and let the backs of the feet connect down into the ground, right across to the little toes. So that there's a gap here between your front ankle and the ground. I can fit my hand in there. So there's a aliveness in the feet to create that space. And then with the hands, if you can let the back of one hand touch the ground, the back of the right hand, and just feel the kind of openness in the shoulder. And you keep that as you then turn that right hand over to bring the palm in contact with the ground. And then come to the left. Let the back of the hand rest on the ground first of all. Feel that kind of openness in the front of the shoulder and then gently turn the hand. So then we come to a real kind of alive cat pose. And we're just going to do a little bit of movement through the spine first of all, and then we'll do the legs. So breathing in as you curl the spine up from the tail to the head. Breathing out, uncurling the spine from the tail to the head. And we're just coming to this flat back position that we've been in throughout the session. So not the cow pose, just cat and flat back. Arched cat and flat back cat. Seeing if the tail can move first, the head last. So the tail curls, the spine, the shoulders, then the head. And then the tail uncurls through the spine, shoulders back, head. And that might really go with your breath. I tend to breathe in as I curl up. Breathe out as I uncurl, but just go with what's right for you. And then the next time you come to a flat back position, we're going to slide the right foot out. Tuck the toes under so that we have a long right leg. And just feel that length along the right hand side, from the toes through the hip, shoulder blade to the ear. And then we're going to move this right foot, so we're going to rotate so that the big toe and the inside edge connects with the floor or down towards the floor. And then up through the toes and over so the little toe edge finds the floor, towards the floor. So just this movement of all the way along the leg, right up into the hip, big toe and inner edge, little toe and outer edge of the foot. Sort of twirling that whole right leg from the hip socket. Let the body move with that twirl. We've done a little bit of twirling from side to side. Then again, find all the toes. Tuck the toes under and just find all the toes. Feel that length along that leg. Breathe into that side of the body. And then what's it like to just lift this right leg up level with the buttocks. Again, breathe into that length. And you might like to lift the left hand off and lengthen it out. I can't totally lengthen out because I've got the chest of drawers, but lengthen out. Cross body from right leg to left arm. And then let those two limbs come back down, so all 4 limbs are on the ground. You might like to just let the toes come together and the knees apart, and just rest the buttocks back, and either the head down to the ground or the head onto hands, or if you've still got your chair nearby, you can rest the head onto the seat of the chair. So just whatever position is comfortable for you, letting the buttocks rest down onto the heels as best they can. And again, breathing into the back of the body, filling up the lower back, the middle of your back, the upper back, the spaces in between the vertebrae. And really filling up the front of the rib cage. So really expanding that full capacity of lungs, all the way down to the bottom, all the way up to the top, all the way out in front, all the way out in back. Sense of nourishing all the cells as you breathe in, cleansing all the cells as you breathe out. And then bring the hands around to the sacrum again. Find that diamond shape of thumbs and index fingers. And what's it like to keep the hands there as you tip the body back up to kneeling? And then we're going to come back to our cat position. So letting the feet be in parallel again, nice long lower legs. Again, you might like to just feel the back of each hand to open the shoulders. And then we'll do the same on the left hand side. So first of all, just curling the spine up, perhaps as you breathe in, and curling as you breathe out, if that's what works. Maybe do that once more to get that kind of fluid movement back. And then you can slide, next time you're in that flat back position, slide the left foot away, tuck the toes under, lengthening back into the left heel. Just feel that length along your body, from toes to knees to hips, shoulders and head. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, but maybe the other way up. And then what's it like to lift that left leg up so it's level with your buttock, stretching into the heel, breathing into the body. And then that might feel enough, but if you want to, then see what it's like to lift the right hand off and just lengthen this right arm, keeping the shoulder blade back, but fingertips growing long. The breath, for a couple of breaths here. And then again, letting your limbs come back down into the ground. And this time we're going to tuck the toes under and kneel up. So my toes are tucked under both toes. My heels are above my toes, in line with my knees and buttocks. And we'll let the hands come in front of the chest. I'm just going to do a couple of breath rounds here. So breathing in, letting the arms come up, shoulders down. Breathing out, the arms go out and round, buttocks come back over the heels. And then we keep going with the breath, coming up as we breathe in, arms and buttocks. Arms come out and down and round, buttocks down as we breathe out. Turn this way so you can see it front arm, so come up and down. Just going back as far as you can with your buttocks, keeping it fluid. And then let's release. Come and sit with your feet out in front. You might like to sit on a little cushion just underneath the buttocks if that is more helpful. Legs out in front. Nice long back of the legs into the heels. We're just going to move each leg a little bit one by one. So with your right index finger and middle finger, come around your big toe. Your arm is inside your knee. I'm just going to lift that leg up by leaning back. And just a little bit of moving this right leg. The knee joint, the hip joint. And then let that leg come across to the opposite thigh. The knee goes out to the side. And with the left hand, we're going to interlock the fingers in between the toes. Best you can, one finger in between each toe. This arm can just rest. And the foot is going to rotate around in a circle. Hand just going along as a passenger. Nice big smooth circle as best you can with the foot and the ankle. And then around in the opposite direction. Hand just acting as a passenger, not pulling it with your hand. And then this nodding foot, so drawing the foot up perhaps as you breathe in, pointing the toes as you breathe out. So the foot kind of nods up and down. And next time your foot comes up, can you draw the fingers out through the tips of the toes? Come underneath your right knee, lift that leg up a little bit, give it a shake. And let that foot go out to join the other one. And just have a little look at your toes. Toes that have had a little spreading, the other ones that maybe haven't. Feel that, look at that. And then with your left index finger and middle finger, come around the left big toe. Bend up the knee, arm inside the knee. Just lean back to lift that foot up. And give that leg a little move around in its socket. Being exploratory. How's this leg and hip and knee and ankle? And then letting the foot come across to rest on the right thigh, knee coming out to the side. And then with your right fingers, interlocking the fingers between the toes and the bottom of the foot. And then the hand just kind of sits around the ball of the foot. This hand can rest. And again, with this foot, just seeing what it's like to rotate the foot around in a circle. Smooth a big circle as you can. In one direction and then changing the direction around in the other way. Might feel and hear little clunks and creaks. That's all good. And then drawing the foot up towards the shin, and maybe as you breathe in, pointing the toes away as the breath goes out. And then letting the foot come up into that flex position, bringing the fingers out through the tops of the toes. Come underneath the back of your knee, just lift that leg and give it a little shake. And let it go out to join the other one. And then we'll just finish with a stretch through the front of the body. So if you bring your fingers level with the back of the buttocks, fingers pointing forwards, you can then roll over the wrist and the shoulders to find that length through the front of your body. Long legs, long front of the body. If you want to go a bit further, you can roll over the heels to lift the buttocks up. And release. And then again, just find that length up through the front of the body. And then we're going to come to lying on our backs. So if you lie down with your knees bent up and your feet flat on the floor, you can either stay in this position or you can lie with your legs out long. Or if you've got your chair nearby, you can bring the chair into position so that your lower legs can rest on the chair. And let the arms be out level with the shoulders. You might like to put a blanket over you or put socks and a jumper on. If your head and neck feels kind of pulled, then you can pop a little cushion underneath your head. Or you could fold up the mat, roll up the mat and just have a little extra bit of padding just underneath the back of the head. Keep the head in line with the spine. We might just do a little bit of breathing with our hands and our fingers. So if your arms are out level with the shoulders, palms facing up towards the ceiling, then you just let your fingers come and touch the thumb, so like a closed bud. When you breathe in, you can open all 5 fingers. Maybe you can feel the floor with all 5 fingers as you breathe in. As you breathe out, just let the fingers curl back up. They might not come and touch the thumb, but just kind of release the fingers. So you're breathing in and spreading the fingers down towards the floor, breathing out and releasing. Just seeing what that's like. Quite a subtle movement, but you can kind of feel that all the way along the arms into the shoulders as you open all the fingers and the thumb down towards the floor. You might like to just do that for a few breaths, 3 breaths or 5 breaths. And then you can release. Maybe the hands want to come and rest on the belly, or the hands might stay there. But just let go of that movement in the fingers and hands. Let the eyes close, or the gaze really soften. And just let the attention drop inside the body, like we did at the very beginning with the sitting practice. Checking in what's here now. How does the body feel physically? Places that feel soft and loose, places maybe that might still feel tight, stiff. You can also sense in the body for kind of heaviness or lightness, sort of energetic feel of the body. Be able to notice any emotions lingering and how they play out in the body, where they play out in the body. Just let them be there, let them play out. They'll come and they'll go. See if we can watch them from a distance, lightly and curiously, kindly and lovingly. And similarly with the thoughts, particularly at this point in time, there might be kind of lots of fretful thoughts or thoughts that come round and around again. Might be shouting quite loudly, taking up quite a lot of space. So just a moment to let them have centre stage, be noticed, be held. And the breath can be really helpful, just breathing in and around whatever's here, letting it kind of flow into a particular part of the body. Wherever we're noticing something more clearly, more dominantly, really inviting the breath there, up into the head, around those thoughts, Bringing that energy and that softness of in-breath quality and out-breath quality. Maybe breathing in and around the heart space, helping that to soften and open if that's what's needed. Or maybe breathing in and around different parts of the body that maybe still need a little bit of attention, kind, loving attention. And if the body feels generally quite well, then just a sense of breathing into the body as a whole. The head, the shoulders, the knees and the toes. The back of the body and the front of the body. All the way up to the level of skin, as if you're filling up this whole body space. I'm just going to finish with a poem called Together. Together, we cool down grace and gaze without wavering into the fires of creation. We find the place where love embraces fear and tears taste like faith. We let our radiance be revealed in laughter and in longing. We hold the whole of life, sweet grapes and bitter healing herbs. We hold until we overflow and offer back the gifts that we've received. The vessel never empties. The growing love between us keeps it filled. So with the same attention that we've been paying on our breath and our body, letting that attention now rest on the sound of the bowl until it dissolves away into silence to bring this session to a close. So as the sound of the bowl dissolves away, you might like to wriggle your fingers and toes. Or if your body feels like it needs a stretch, then go with that. Stretch the body in whatever way it needs. And then always good to, when you're ready, to bend up your knees and roll the body over to one side. The whole body rolling over to one side and coming up from that side position. Back to sitting. So thank you, namaste.